I'm Yohsuke Murase from Riken. Thank you for the introduction. So, I'm going to play my video. I'm Yohsuke Murase from Riken Center for Computational Science. Today, I'm going to give a talk on our finding on iterated prisoner's dilemma. This is a joint work with Professor Seung Baek from Pukyo National University. Prisoner's dilemma is the most fundamental mathematical framework to describe the social dilemma, where players are tempted to take selfish actions while such selfish actions are bad for the entire society. The payoff matrix of Prisoner's Dilemma is given like this. If the players play the game only once, the only rational action is defection, because a player always obtains a higher payoff by defecting. However, the cooperative behavior can arise when the game is repeated because the players have a strategic option that they can reward the cooperator in future. Many kinds of strategies have been studied for this game. The most well-known one would be tit for tat, which is the winning strategy of the Axelrod tournament. Using this strategy, the player can cooperate when the co-player is generous, and the player can defend herself when she was defected. It is mathematically guaranteed that your long-term payoff is no less than the co-player's. However, tit-for-tat is fragile against the noise. When two tit-for-tat players play the game, and one of them happens to defect by mistake, then they are trapped into continuous retaliations. Another well-known strategy is win-stay-lose shift, which is defined by this table. Using this strategy, the cooperation is tolerant against error. Namely, they can recover cooperation from erroneous defections. On the other hand, a critical downside of this strategy is a weakness against defectors. If the strategy is known to your co-player can repeatedly exploit you just by keeping defections. According to a recent understanding, well-known strategies are classified into two types of groups: partners and rivals. This is a schematic diagram of the strategy space. In this figure, cooperative strategies are placed on the left side, while the stringent strategies are placed on the right side. Partners are a class of strategies indicated by this blue area, which can form mutual cooperation even under the noise. For instance, win-stay-lose shift, generous tit-for-tat belong to this class. On the other hand, rivals are a class of strategies that are stringent against the co-player, which is represented by the red circle in this figure. If a strategy is a rival, it is guaranteed that your long-term payoff never becomes less than your co-players. For instance, tit-for-tat and extortionate zero-determinant strategies belong to this class. Since each of partners and rivals has pros and cons, it would be great if a single strategy satisfies these advantages simultaneously. We call such a class of strategies friendly rivals, which are shown as the overlap of these two classes in this figure. It is not easy to be a friendly rival, because you must generously forgive your co-player's erroneous defections to be a partner, and at the same time, you must punish your co-player's malicious defections to be a rival, without knowing his or her intention. More concretely speaking, rivals and partners are defined as follows. When a strategy is a rival, the long-term payoff never becomes smaller than the co-player's payoff. So this inequality must be true even when the co-players are very smart, having long memory, and even when your strategy is known to the public. We can check if a strategy is a rival or not by some graph theoretic calculations. This plot shows the payoffs of player A and B. When A is a rival, B's payoff cannot exceed A's payoff. So the payoff is limited to this shaded area below the diagonal. On the other hand, if the strategy is a partner, the players can maintain cooperation even under the noise when the strategy is used by both players. Namely, they can maintain cooperation with probability 1 as error rate goes to 0, and the full cooperation indicated by this blue dot is realized. A friendly rival strategy forms a cooperative Nash equilibrium because when A is a rival, the payoffs are confined to this shaded triangle. Therefore, player B's best possible action is to form mutual cooperation, which can be realized by taking the same strategy as A. To find friendly rivals, we conducted a massive computation using a supercomputer. We comprehensively enumerated all memory 1, memory 2, and memory 3 strategies. Here memory M means that the action is prescribed based on the history over the last M rounds. The enumeration is quite challenging because the number of possible strategies expands super quickly, like exponential of exponential. When memory is 3, we have this huge number of strategies, which is 2 to 64. We completed this calculation by developing algorithms and using a supercomputer. As a result, we found that there is no friendly rival in memory 1 space. In memory 2 strategy space, there are only 4 solutions. However, in memory 3 strategy space, we found 4 trillion friendly rival strategies. Although its fraction is quite tiny compared to the whole strategy space, there are indeed many types of friendly rivals. Using these friendly rivals, it is indeed possible to achieve mutual cooperation while defending oneself from malicious defectors. Most of these friendly rivals are too complicated, and it is not straightforward to interpret how they are working. Here we picked up 2 examples and depicted their behaviors as automata. As you can see, there are many internal states and they are not easily understood. However, we found one friendly rival which is easy to interpret. The strategy is defined by this action table. We named it Capri after 5 simple rules that describe the behavior. The first rule is cooperate at mutual cooperation. When you are cooperating with your co-player, just keep cooperation. The second rule is accept punishment. When you mistakenly defected from mutual cooperation, accept the punishment from your co-player in the next round, and then recover cooperation. The third rule is about punishment. Punish your co-player by defecting once when he defected from mutual cooperation, and then recover cooperation when he accepted punishment. The fourth rule is recover cooperation when the co-player cooperated at mutual defection. So you should switch your action to cooperation as well. The final rule is in all the other cases defect. In other words, defection is the default action. For instance, Capri keeps defecting when the co-player is defecting as well. Capri is similar to Grim Trigger rather than tit for tat. Grim Trigger is a strategy which cooperates in the first round and continue cooperation as long as co-player is cooperating. Once its co-player defected, it changes its action to defection and never cooperate. The first and fifth rules of Capri is nothing but the Grim trigger. However, Capri is different from Grim trigger in two ways. First, it is error tolerant. Even if one of the players mistakenly defected, they can maintain cooperation. The second notable difference from Grim trigger is its ability to escape from mutual defection. While Grim trigger is a irreversible process, Capri can recover cooperation because of the fourth rule. Next, I'm gonna show you the result of the evolutionary game. Although a rival strategy assures that the player is never beaten by the co-player, it does not necessarily guarantee a success in evolutionary games where everyone is pitted against every other in the population. According to recent understanding, evolutionary success of a strategy depends on the environmental conditions such as the population size and the ratio of the benefit to cost of cooperation. This figure shows the abundance of partner, rival, and other strategies when species are limited to classical memory 1 strategy space. Rivals are successful when the benefit to cost ratio is low or the population size is small, whereas partners get abundant in the other cases. When we introduce Capri into this system, the result changes drastically. As you see in this figure, Capri overwhelms the other species for the entire parameter range. Since Capri has advantages of both partners and rivals, it is highly advantageous in evolutionary settings. Actually, we analytically showed that friendly rivals are evolutionarily robust for any population size, benefit to cost ratio, and selection strength. Namely, friendly rivals cannot be selectively replaced by any mutant strategies, which explains why Capri is so outstanding. Finally, I'd like to discuss open issues for future research. First, although we found a massive number of friendly rivals, we don't know which of the friendly rivals are selected in evolutionary process. Secondly, we don't know if there are strategies other than Capri that are interpretable in a simple way. And thirdly, if Capri appears as a consequence of evolution, we don't know how its evolutionary path looks like. This is a highly non-trivial issue because most of the well-known strategies are similar to tit-for-tat, while Capri is similar to Grim trigger. So it's not clear how Grim trigger-like strategies appear in evolutionary process. To conclude, we found a diverse patterns of friendly rivals in memory's 3 strategy space by massive computation using a supercomputer. The friendly rivals appears only when the memory length is sufficiently long, namely this novel class of strategies appears only when strategies are sufficiently complex. Among these diverse friendly rivals, we found a simple strategy, that Capri, that is described by 5 simple rules. So we believe in various respects it is one of the best strategies ever because its cooperation is robust against an error. It never allows any co-player to beat you, and it is evolutionarily robust for any environmental conditions. Furthermore, it can exploit a broad range of strategies including OC, generous tit-for-tat, and Wednesday root shift. And Capri is a deterministic strategy whose behavior is independent of elementary payoff values, so it is effective not only for Prisoner's Dilemma, but for Stag Hunt game and Snowdrift game. Furthermore, Capri is generalizable to general N players public goods game. If you have interest in the details, please check our papers. The upper one is a paper about prisoner's dilemma, and the second one is about general n-person public goods game. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, sorry, I had trouble unmuting
Thank you for your
myself.
attention.
Yeah, thank you very much for your talk. We have 5 minutes of questions. I don't see any in the box right now. I have a question. What about you said there's also, for memory 2, there's also some friendly rivals?
Yes.
But they are not easy
yes.
to interpret, or why did you not focus on them?
Okay, so it is interpretable. One of the interpretable strategy, which is like this. So it is called tit for tat, anti-tit for tat. And actually it is found in another paper, in a previous paper by E. et al. And so tit for tat, anti-tit for tat is a combination of tit for tat and its opposite behavior. So usually they behave like tit for tat. And when a player made a mistake, then switch their behavior to anti-tit for tat, which is opposite to tit for tat. So by using these two, by using this combination of tit for tat and anti-tit for tat, they become a friendly rival. Although this is one of the interpretable strategy, actually we also compared the performance of this strategy and Capri, and we found Capri is much better because TFT ATFT is basically tit for tat. So any strategy can have the same payoff as tit for tat strategy. So which means tit for tat like strategy is invaded by neutral drift in evolutionary setting. But on the other hand, Capri is more offensive strategy, so it is more it is better in evolutionary setting.
Okay. Okay, thank you. There's a question now in the question and answer box.
Okay.
T. Anhan. Can you see it? I can read it maybe.
Yes, I can see it.
Great talk. Did you try Capri with strategies in the Exarods tournaments? I am curious whether it can beat TFT or generous TFT.
Oh, that's a great question. And I think Capri performs equally well to tit for tat because it depends on the setting. So in Axelrod tournament, actually it depends on which strategies are entered in the tournament. And tit for tat so in the Axelrod tournament, each strategy is fought against another strategy, and it is basically a one-by-one match. So it should be equally well with tit for tat.
Okay.
So thank you for your question.
Okay. What time is it? We have. It's gonna be short. I was wondering this. So this payoff matrix, or this graph you show here, the bottom one, you also showed it in the talk. Is this for the iterated? Is this already the iterated payoff, basically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a long-term payoff.
I see.
So it's average over a long period.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. But we have to move to the next speaker. So thank you, Yohsuke. And